So what a lot of people need to understand is that in every robbery, there's a robber involved. In every murder, there's a murderer involved. And in every rape, there is a rapist involved. So how come we don't victim blame when it comes to anything but rape? We never say, oh, well, that store was really pretty. Well, how much did that store have on for display? Before we judge the intent of the robber and charge them for the crime they committed. We never say, well, that person looked really vulnerable, before we charge the murderer for killing them. So why is it that we need to know everything about the victim before we understand the fact that a rapist rapes somebody because of the own evil intentions they have in their head, and it has nothing to do with what anyone does or say? They will go ahead with the crime that they want to commit.
Well, thank you for the question and the false analogy. And if you just thought about this for a couple of seconds before opening your mouth, you'd have realised that the question is a pathetically stupid question. So in the case of a murder, there's evidence. There's a dead body. The cause of death is determined through autopsy, and once we know that the murder occurred, the murderer is chased down or pursued by the authorities. In the case of a robbery, you've got missing money from the till, and of course when the police investigate a robbery, for example, at a shop, and there's no camera to corroborate the shopkeeper's claims that he was robbed, the shopkeeper himself is the first suspect in the police investigation. And once he's eliminated, they look for other people. So we come to the crime of rape. Now, if there is actually evidence of rape, and there's usually, in the case of rape, there is actually physical evidence that a qualified medical examiner can put before the courts. But today, you've got her word against his 99% of the time, because what used to constitute rape is not what constitutes rape today. So in the case where it's just his word against her word, or her word against his word, there has to be an accountability, there has to be an investigation, there has to be some kind of questioning as to whether or not this is an actual allegation, a real allegation, or a false allegation, which is where the character of the apparent victim, or they call them survivors these days, is called into question. Circumstances need to be investigated, because rape is actually a serious crime. It's taken very seriously in our society, except by feminists. Interesting. So when there's a complete lack of evidence that a crime has occurred, what can you do? It's not victim blaming. It's about due process under the law.